Welcome to the Dominate Your Niche podcast with me, Ruth Ferreira. Here we chat to some of today's best small business leaders, individuals who are shaking up their industry and dominating their niche. The show tackles all things business growth, from strategy, marketing and branding, and delves into the secrets of what it takes to dominate your niche. The aim of this podcast is to empower founders with big dreams, small and micro businesses, and even solopreneurs who are looking to make a big impact. People who are hungry to learn from those who have gone before them and implement that knowledge to next level in their own business. So welcome, lean in, and then go take action to propel yourself towards dominating your niche in your small business. Hello and welcome to my latest solo podcast episode, How to Be an Overnight Success. And this podcast has probably been coming for years because everyone I meet wants to know the secret. How do you become an overnight success? And sadly, I don't think it's possible. Nobody sees that behind that overnight, there's years and years of work to get you to that point. So probably 2 years ago now, I was very visible in my business locally. And I met somebody who I'd actually met for the first time a couple of years before, who said to me, "You came from nowhere and now you're everywhere." And I literally laughed because, firstly, I don't think he had any memory of meeting me previously, charmer. But secondly, I knew the effort that I'd put in to be what he perceived to be everywhere at that point. And for those of you who are looking, especially looking at me, I get, even this morning on an online networking group, I had people saying like, how, what's the secret? How have you got there? And honestly, there's been years of learning, of failing, of growing, of showing up, of trying new things. Some of them work, some of them don't, but consciously getting visible, consciously getting myself out there, and consciously being or becoming the person I am today that is honestly smashing it in what I do. So the reality behind most overnight successes is the same. We know the story of Edison inventing the light bulb. Now, I had to Google this and I wasn't expecting the number to be so big, but Edison actually failed 2,774 times in his records before he reached a design for the electric light bulb that worked. Now, honestly, I'm just looking in my room at that light switch that I just literally magically press this button, flick this switch, and I get my room lit up as if by magic. Imagine if he hadn't persevered. Imagine the late nights. Imagine oh my God, the tears. I wonder if he cried. Not all men cry, but the frustration, the persistence, the perseverance. And imagine if he had just quit. What would my evenings look like? They'd be just pitch black candlelight. It might be quite romantic, maybe. A fire risk would be massive. And it's the same, what most people see, especially on social media, is a highlight reel. It's not the reality. So the common traits for people who are labeled an overnight success is persistence. So it's that consistency of working, of showing up time and time again. That willingness to put yourself out there, to try things, to fail, to pick yourself up and try again. It's that obsession with getting better over time. So there's a famous actor, a guy called Chris Pratt, who says that it actually took him 10 years to become an overnight success. He was really highly paid, very successful, very influential man. But it took years for him to get there. So I wonder, why this myth persists. Why, why do people still believe that it's possible? And honestly, it's not very sexy or exciting to share a lot of the journey, to share that toil, to share the struggle, the tears. And honestly, the tears are so real. You wouldn't believe the number of mastermind groups I run where people cry. Sometimes it's good tears, sometimes it's tears of frustration, sometimes they're silent, non-visible tears. Um, but growing a business is a journey. There's ups and downs, but actually, it's much more exciting to share this Cinderella story, that quick transformation. And especially in today's media, like they love that overnight success story. As a society, we're conditioned now, especially with social media, we don't have to wait for anything. I'm actually quite worried about my kids growing up, to work out how to grow their tenacity, because it's such a society where results just happen quickly. But yeah, it's not the reality. So if you're looking to grow your business, what are the things that you can do overnight to start building that overnight success story? Well, firstly, you can decide to start. Any day now, you can commit to the journey, to leaning in, to pushing through and doing the work to get to where you want to be. And it all starts with a decision. You can shift your mindset to one of learning, to one of growth, to one of possibility, and get really clear on what does success actually look like for you. This is always the first step, because if you don't know that, honestly, you're probably not going to get to where you want to be. You can also look at any failures that you have along the way and shift your perspective on these, reframe them as progress, as learning, as showing up. You've just tried, just like Edison, you've tried one more thing that didn't work, that wasn't the solution. Great, you're one step closer to where you want to be. And that shift of learning and growing and of possibility, rather than, oh, that didn't work, that shift in mindset actually opens you up to more opportunity. Are you ready to grow your business this year? Join me for Supercharge Your Month, a 60-minute clarity and strategy workshop to reflect, plan, and get super strategic to make your growth dreams a reality. The first Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. for just £97, or free if it's your first time. My gift to you. Book on now via the show notes. See you there. So let's think more practically. What might this look like in your business? So for those of you who are super early on, and actually, interestingly, some really established businesses in yesterday's mastermind session were talking about this as well. So early on, or some of you less early on, it's really important as a first step just to get really clear on what it is that you want to be known for. Like, what is your business? What is the transformation that you provide, the product or the service that you sell? What is the results that your potential client will get from using your products or services? What is the impact of your work? And then I'd get really clear on your target market. And I think this is something that people often struggle with, is they're marketing too widely. They're not clear on who it is that they want to attract. And that often means that their messaging misses everyone. So your target market, they need your product or service. They need to want it. And most importantly, they need to be able to afford it right now. If they can't afford it right now, maybe it's something they can save up for in the coming months. But it needs to be something that they are willing to spend money on right now for you to bring them on as clients today. So you want to get really clear on these people, get in their heads, understand what's going on in their brains. What are their challenges? What are their hopes? What are their dreams? What is it that they desire in their life, especially as it relates to your product or service? And what are their pain points? what is it that you can help them with that will make their life easier, better, more convenient, more fun, whatever it is. And I would do some deep work on your messaging so that when you're putting your messaging out there, it really speaks to these people who need and want what it is that you do and can afford it right now. I'd also work out where these people are. And oh my goodness, this is something I see time and time again. People who are showing up in the wrong place for their target market. So if you're targeting professionals, you need to be on LinkedIn. I see so many people who are loving Instagram. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely flipping love Instagram. I've got a solid enough following on there, but I don't get any work from there because generally the people who are on there can't afford to work with me right now. So for me, the place that I show up is LinkedIn online. Anyway, I'm also on Instagram. I fire the same content across, but it's not the place where I'm spending time. It's not the place where I'm putting my energy. Likewise, with what I do, yes, I've had a lot of fun in the past going along to mums and business groups, but again, they can't afford what I do. I need that more serious business owner who's got money to invest in their growth. And think about what that is for you. So I'm trying to think of some examples here. So for example, like one of my friends from the gym is starting a dog walking business. So she is looking for dog owners, obviously, but people who are time poor. So for whatever reason, they are not in a position to walk their dogs themselves. So it might be that she's looking at pet owners who maybe live near to the station because they're commuting into London. Might be that she's looking at people who live in maybe sheltered accommodation. So elderly people who have a pet, like they love the company, but they're no longer in a position to get out and walk it themselves. So so for her, if you're going to be flyering, that's a really helpful way to start. It's also helpful to target the more affluent streets because these are going to be the people who have the money for your products or services. So yeah, so for those of you who are thinking, where do I start? Get clear on what it is you want to be known for. Get clear the results of working with you. Get clear on who your target markets are. Get in their heads and start showing up where they're at, speaking their language in a way that gets their attention and makes them stop and think, hell yes, this is for me. Another top tip is to get in community. Literally within the last 24 hours, I have had people say to me, oh my goodness, it's so great to realize I'm not alone. And what I'd love all of you to realize is that nobody is an overnight success. We are all on this journey. Our journeys look different. Our challenges are similar but different. But everyone is a work in progress. Where we are today is not where we're going to end up. I mean, for some people it might be, but hopefully not for most of us. So get around some people who are on a similar journey and encourage each other, learn from each other, share mistakes, share wins, and help each other to keep moving forward to get to where you want to be. So what I'd love to know is some of your experiences of being an overnight success. What are the key things that kept you going, that helped you to dig in and get to where you want to be? For those of you who are still earlier on in the journey and thinking, oh gosh, am I ever gonna be there? I'd love to hear about your journey, to hear about the wins that you've had, the challenges that you're having. So connect with me on social media and I'd love to share. And for those of you who are on your business growth journey, you've probably heard an advert for this sometime in the podcast, but come along to my month start strategy and clarity workshop. There'll be a link in the show notes. You can click through, you can book on for free. It's the first Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. And come join a community of inspired, excited business owners who are on that journey towards becoming their own version of an overnight success. Have an amazing day.
Thank you for listening today. If you like what you hear, please hit subscribe and leave us a review. Even better, come connect with me, Ruth Ferreira, on LinkedIn and Instagram. I'd love to get to know you.